Now on CoastTV News.
Fireworks shot into a crowd. Ocean City Police releases details of the scary scene last night. A special election just 1 month away. Voters in the 20th District will elect Stell Parker Selby's replacement.
And it's been an absolutely picture-perfect holiday weekend on Delmarva, but I am tracking some big changes. Humidity is going to be making a return, plus we have a newly formed tropical storm in the Atlantic. I'll talk about how that may impact our weather here on the peninsula coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Brandon Ferguson. Welcome to CoastTV News at 6. Ocean City Police arrested one person last night after fireworks were shot into a crowd on the boardwalk. Some witnesses reported shots fired, but police later confirmed that it was fireworks that were shot into the crowd. There were no firearms involved and no gun-related injuries. In Bethany Beach, a similar fireworks situation played out. Police are looking for a young man they say shot fireworks at people. The photo you saw shows the explosion on the beach in the top left of that photo on your screen. Police say the man pictured here aimed fireworks at folks for several nights, then fired a mortar-style firework into a group on the beach, hitting people. Officers say this body camera image shows the suspect who got away. We're now going to move and take a live look outside into Milford and bring in First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobuono. Chris, it was a beautiful 4th of July last night.
Yes, it was, Brandon. I'll tell you what, picture perfect, low humidity, not that hot out. And check out some of these lows this morning. We dipped down to 59 in Salisbury, 62 in Georgetown. We have bright blue skies and low. It's been a really nice day at the coast. We've had a sea breeze kick in. Temperatures are in the upper 70s, 79 from Bethany down to Ocean City, 82 in Long Neck. We're at 84 Georgetown, 87 in Milford. Dew points still in the mid to upper 60s, so still tolerable out there. High pressure in full control, but as you poke down to the south here, you see that spin off the South Carolina coast. That is Chantal, Tropical Storm Chantal. That is going to be making landfall tomorrow morning across the Carolinas. For us, we have a dry, pleasant evening with temperatures falling into the mid to upper 60s. Now, that humid air mass is going to be moving in tomorrow, so it's going to feel hotter. Can't rule out an isolated storm in the afternoon. I think most of the day is dry. And then we watch some of the remnants of Chantal move into the area on Monday. Tropical like downpours throughout the day, and then it stays rather active throughout the week. And yeah, we could be talking about the return of some triple-digit heat indices by Tuesday. We'll talk more about that in the full 7-day forecast. Brandon.
Thank you, Chris. The District 20 special election is now just 1 month away, scheduled for August 5th. This comes after the resignation of former Representative Stell Parker Selby following her long-term absence, where she missed every single day of the legislative session. Democrat Alana Berry and Republican Nikki Miller will face off in the special election. Sussex County Republicans selected Miller as their candidate on Wednesday. She lost to Parker Selby by just 275 votes in the 2024 general election. Berry, on the other hand, beat out 4 other Democratic candidates on Thursday. Early voting and absentee voting is happening. Remember, you must request an absentee ballot. All early voting is taking place at Mariner Middle School. And if you want to vote early in the District 20 special election, follow me on this. It starts July 24th through the 26th. That's a Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. There's no voting on Sunday the 27th. On Monday the 28th and 29th, the same hours apply, 7 to 7. Then July 30th through August 3rd, that is a Sunday. Voting is from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Again, all of this is happening at Mariner Middle School. For more on the candidates and a list of where to find your polling place for District 20 on Election Day itself, head to CoastTV.com. We now know how much bacteria was in the ocean in Rehoboth Beach. An advisory was in place after elevated levels of bacteria were found. According to DENREC data, there were 10,462 colony-forming units of bacteria per 100 milliliters. For comparison, a few days earlier, it was 5, and yesterday it went down to 81. This usually happens after heavy rain washes that bacteria into the water, but the city says very few people got sick from this. In Milton, 2 separate housing developments by the same applicant will apply over 250 new homes to Petty John Road. You see them on your screen. Symphony Glen and Windscape Farms. Symphony Glen is the larger of the two projects. It includes plans for 219 homes planned across more than 100 acres. Right next door, Windscape Farms would add another 49 homes on 26 acres. We heard from a lot of locals with mixed opinions on these developments, but I want you to hear from Kevin Gilmore with the Sussex County Habitat for Humanity. He explains what makes one of these projects really unique.
Developer approached us and had an idea of trying to figure out how to incorporate houses that are more affordable into a larger context of a plan and think about it as maybe a model for other developers as well. We started talking about it and ended up with 9 lots.
Those 9 lots are planned to be Habitat for Humanity homes. Milton already has 5 of them, but never in a subdivision like this. The Symphony Glen plans also call for $500 per lots to be donated to the Milton Fire Department. That equals out to more than $100,000 to the Milton Fire Department. And a heads up for Milton drivers near Webb Road. That will be closed between Gravel Hill Road and Shingle Point Road next week. DelDOT says crews will be working on underground utility lines tied to the Four Winds farm development. The closure starts Monday, July 14th at 7 a.m. and runs through Friday the 18th. In Rehoboth Beach, the Grove Park Canal dock has been closed since February, when a study was released saying the dock's structure was unsafe. And now, after multiple meetings between commissioners about the dock's next step, it still remains closed. The next step is it still remains closed, but city officials tell CoastTV that a second study was done on June 30th to see where the structural damage currently sits. The city says results from that study will be released at Monday's commissioner workshop meeting. Increased energy assistance benefits are coming down the line for eligible Marylanders. Governor Wes Moore announced the new Maryland Department of Human Services program on Thursday. Any household that received electrical benefits last year will now receive between $250 and $1,000. Gas benefits for eligible households may be as high as $550 in fiscal year 2026. Those who are not automatically eligible are invited to apply at marylandbenefits.gov.
We have a really nice Saturday evening shaping up. Temperatures falling to around 76. That sun setting just around 8:30, but the humidity is going to be on the rise. A sticky Sunday awaits. We'll talk about that in the 7-day forecast in minutes.
Deadly Texas flooding. How many were killed by these floods? And a overnight shooting in Indianapolis kills 2. What authorities say happened.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
The death toll in Texas continues to rise as the state grapples with historic flooding. At least 27 people have been killed, 18 adults and 9 children, and dozens of others are missing. Some areas receiving nearly 7 inches of rain in just 3 hours, and more rain is on the way. One of the worst hit areas is Kerr County, and this home swept away by the river, the fierce waters destroying several homes in Kerrville.
We went ahead and jumped out and we got washed down 3 houses, and we finally ended up snagged on a big bush.
The threat is not over yet. Much of the central Texas is still under flood Saturday alerts, and more rain is on the way. 2 people are dead and several others were injured in a mass shooting in downtown Indianapolis early this morning. Police were already investigating a separate disturbance in the area when they heard gunfire just before 1:30 this morning. 1 person was pronounced dead at the scene. Another 6 people, 3 juveniles and 3 adults were hospitalized for treatment. And sadly, one of those juveniles later died. Police said several guns were recovered at the scene and 7 people were detained for questioning.
Well, our gorgeous weekend's going to continue into our Sunday. 83 to about 88 along the coast. Low risk of rip currents. That ocean's warming up too, but we talk about the return of tropical-like air and some heavy downpours down the road. We'll talk about in the full 7-day forecast next. I hope everyone had a wonderful 4th of July. We are certainly enjoying some beautiful conditions over the last 2 days Anytime you can get low humidity in July, take advantage of it. 78 degrees in Ocean View, dew point 63, absolutely gorgeous out there. It's going to be a beautiful evening. Temperatures falling into the mid-70s. We'll bottom out mid to upper 60s tonight with some patchy fog. The other thing has been the ocean. Very warm, mid to upper 70s, and we'll have a low risk of rip currents into Sunday. You can see temperatures right now, 79 in Rehoboth to 79 in Bethany. We're at 81, Dagsboro 84 in Georgetown. Dew point still holding pretty comfortable in the lower to mid 60s, but that's going to be changing as we go into the day tomorrow. We're going to see those dew points back into the 70s, and we're going to be kind of socked in a tropical-like air mass for most of next week, so it's going to start to be very uncomfortable once again. We still do have that air quality alert in effect for all of Delaware. That runs through about noon. These conditions will be improving as we head into the day tomorrow. We have been under the influence of high pressure, pretty quiet throughout much of the mid-Atlantic, but if you turn to the south here, we have a developing tropical storm. That's Chantal, and that will be making landfall in the Carolinas. Not expected to become a hurricane, but will be a big rainmaker for those areas. Speaking of rain, tropicals like feel Monday through really Friday, and we see multiple rounds of rain. We're going to be dealing with some fronts, some stalled fronts. Tonight, partly cloudy, mid to upper 60s, a bit milder at the coast with some patchy fog. As we go into our Sunday, warm and humid, highs near 90. Can't rule out an isolated storm, and then we stay pretty stormy into Monday through Tuesday with some of the remnants of Chantal working into the area. Partly cloudy tomorrow, 83 in Rehoboth. We're at 87 in Lewis, 87 in Ocean City. Futurecast shows pretty clear skies through the afternoon tomorrow. Can't rule out a spotty thunderstorm. Most of the area stays dry, and then you see those southerly winds as the humidity really begins to kick in on Monday. So there's Chantal right now. See some drier air on the backside. Most of the convection is to the north. Sustained winds right now 45 miles an hour. The hurricane hunters will be going back in tonight to get some further measurements from this system. But you can see it's going to weaken pretty quickly into a remnant low. And then we're going to kind of feed into some of this moisture as we go into the day on Monday. Scattered tropical-like downpours are possible throughout Monday afternoon through Monday evening. Potential some localized flash flooding. I think most of the areas that will escape any widespread flooding. The other story is we go into Tuesday ahead of that front is going to be the heat indices, anywhere from 100 to 105 with that increase in humidity. There's that front pushing through Tuesday. It's going to kind of stall out over the area, and we're going to see kind of impulses of low pressure work throughout the area through midweek. 64 tonight, partly cloudy, patchy fog. We're at 90 tomorrow with that isolated storm chance. 87 degrees with the Chantal remnants, and then you see, Brandon, we stay pretty unsettled through most of the week with temperatures holding in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees.
Thank you, Chris. President Trump making calls to world leaders to discuss Ukraine. We have that and more political news next. President Donald Trump has been speaking with some world leaders about the war in Ukraine. Ukrainian President Zelensky says they discussed the current situation over the phone yesterday. It came just one day after Trump spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The president said he was disappointed in the conversation, saying he believed Putin was not looking to stop the war. Trump also spoke with the Chancellor of Germany, but it's unknown what they discussed. The U.S. has lifted its chip restrictions against China. The three leading chip design software companies say they were notified by the Commerce Department that the export curbs introduced in May had been rescinded. This announcement comes after a new trade agreement was finalized last week in London. Under the deal, the U.S. agreed to lift the exports curbs on chip software, while China would approve the exports of rare earth minerals to the U.S. Coming up in health news, record-breaking measles cases and some recalls you should know about. Measles cases have surged to a record high since the disease was declared eliminated in the U.S. According to data from Johns Hopkins University, there have been over 1,200 confirmed cases of measles just this year. The vast majority have been in Texas, and 3 people have died and all were unvaccinated. However, the nation could lose its measles elimination status if cases associated with the outbreak continue to accumulate through January of next year. The Food and Drug Administration has escalated a recent blueberry recall to the highest risk for potential listeria contamination. On June 9th, 430-pound boxes of frozen organic blueberries and the FDA escalated the recall to Class 1, the most serious classification. That means there's a reasonable probability consuming the product could lead to serious health consequences. And we're now going to take a live look outside into a sunny Salisbury. And after the break here on Coast TV News at 6, we have a final check on your forecast. Friday, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV. It's full of features, cool things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up now for a Feel Good Friday newsletter at coasttv.com/signup.
And we've certainly been feeling good about the weather over the last 2 days. Now, we are going to see an increase in humidity as we go into the day on Sunday. Many areas across the eastern shore and inland right near 90 degrees, mid to upper 80s at the coast. And we're going to continue to see the high UV index here over the next 5, so make sure you pack on that sunscreen and wear those sunglasses and hats if you're going to be out in the sun for a prolonged period of time. You can get your forecast anytime by dialing the First Alert weather phone. Now, you see a lot of thunderstorms here over the next few days, but we're going to be getting into the remnants of the tropical storm Chantal on Monday, so some tropical-like downpours, better chance of showers and storms Tuesday night. Wednesday, I think, is mostly dry, isolated storm chances, and then we see a better chance of rain Thursday through Friday, but temperatures generally kind of staying right in the upper 80s to right around the 90-degree mark as we go into midweek, and then you'll see the temperatures kind of bottom off into the mid to upper 80s by next weekend, but a rather unsettled stretch of weather and very tropical-like through most of next week.
Thank you, Chris. We'll keep an eye out on those storms. Thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News at 6. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. Be sure to join us tonight at 11. Until then, have a great night.